And tonight on Connecticut's news station, we're heading out to the polls. It's primary day, and we're breaking down all the big races.
Plus, teachers rallying ahead of a Board of Education meeting, the concerns they have about the culture at the school.
I've got mushrooms growing out the ceiling.
Plus, major landlord troubles in Hartford. New at 6, tenants are sharing their frustrations about who is behind redevelopments.
Now at 6, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us here on the Fox 61 News at 6. I'm Sarah Sanchez.
And I'm Brent Harden. It is Election Day with residents in many communities across the state heading out to the polls today.
We have live team coverage in several cities and towns, but some of the biggest races to watch are in Hartford and New Haven. Let's send it right over to Fox 61 political reporter Emma Wolford. She's in studio with us with the latest on the race in the capital city. Emma.
Sarah, Brent, Hartford hasn't had a Republican mayor here in more than 50 years. Many saying today's Democratic primary will likely decide who takes office after current Mayor Luke Bronin finishes his final term. 3 candidates are seeking the Democratic nomination today. Arunan Arulapalam, the CEO of Hartford Land Bank, endorsed by the Hartford Democratic Town Committee, and current Mayor Luke Bronin, former Superior Court Judge and state lawmaker Eric Coleman, and State Senator John Fonfara. Secretary Thomas says today's primaries are going well so far, despite a lack of poll workers and outdated equipment.
Every town has emergency procedures in place. What most people don't realize, if the machine malfunctions, there's no hiccup with voting. There's a secure side pocket, if you will, that the ballots go into, and then they're hand counted when the polls close.
And the Secretary of the State also tells me turnout has been predictably low so far, as it usually is in both primaries and municipal elections. Voter turnout right now here in Hartford sitting at just about 7.45%. Now, there are only these 3 candidates actually on today's Democratic primary ballot: Arulapalam, Coleman, and Fonfara. Councilman Nick LeBron, J. Stan McCauley, and Giselle Jacobs petitioned to have their names on the general election ballot in November. Polls are still open now. They close at 8 p.m. Sarah, Brent.
All right, Emma, thank you. And for all of your primary election coverage from Fox 61, just text the word VOTE to 860-527-6161. You'll receive a text back with a link to our comprehensive guide with everything you need to know for the primary and beyond. Coming up at 6:30, we'll check in on the races in Bridgeport, West Haven, and Derby.
House Speaker Kevin McCarthy says he's formally launching an impeachment inquiry into President Biden over his family's business dealings.
This logical next step will give our committees the full power to gather all the facts and answers for the American public. That's exactly what we want to know, the answers. I believe the president would want to answer these questions and allegations as well.
McCarthy says the House Oversight Committee's investigation has so far found a culture of corruption around the Biden family. Republicans are calling for bank records and other documents from the president and his son, Hunter Biden. The White House has insisted Biden has not been involved in his son's business dealings. All right, we're also in a weather watch alert for, not for tonight, but for what's actually to come tomorrow.
Yeah, it's tomorrow. Some rain is on the way. Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank joining us now with more on that. Rach?
Rain again, surprise, surprise. And we wanted to issue this weather watch alert to give you a heads up, because all eyes are really on Lee heading into Saturday, which is coming into a clearer picture for us today. But maybe you're forgetting about tomorrow. So we wanted to make sure that you knew that we'll see scattered showers and storms during the day tomorrow. And some of them could be severe, but the biggest risk that we end up seeing tomorrow is for locally heavy rain, because the ground is already super saturated after Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We saw some towns pick up 2, 3, 4 inches of rain, and now we have an additional 1 to 2 inches of rain in spots. And somewhere in New England, there could be some isolated amounts up to around 4, which would definitely be too much to handle. So flash flooding is possible. There's also a chance for an isolated severe thunderstorm and a low but not zero risk for a tornado. So it's one of those days where we just need to keep a really close eye on the radar just in case. Here's a look at that flood watch in effect starting 11 o'clock tomorrow morning and continuing into Thursday morning at 8 a.m. We're looking good out there tonight, though. If you want to grill anything outside, go for a walk with the dog. This is the front that we are watching that will be moving in later tomorrow, bringing us those showers and storms. Right now, though, it's warm. Temperatures in the 70s to right around 80 degrees. We'll see overnight lows in the 60s as we head towards daybreak. And during the day tomorrow, off and on showers and storms, locally heavy rain, highs in the 70s. The main threat through 7 p.m., although we could continue to see showers and storms through about 10. I think the worst would be over before then. Things are also coming into a better and clearer agreement here for Hurricane Lee. For more on the latest on the track, let's head to meteorologist Ryan Breton. Hi, Ryan.
Rachel, you made a great point earlier. We may see more widespread rain tomorrow than we will on Saturday with Lee's close pass to New England, given the latest trends in its track. The hurricane hunters flying through it, finding winds of about 105 miles per hour near the center. The latest advisory has it as a Category 3 storm, but it may be dropping a little bit to a Category 2, which was expected as it begins its curve to the north. The question for us has been how close to the New England coastline will the center of the storm be? And the center can be anywhere within this cone. Obviously, the best case scenario for us would be that it shifts farther east, but there is still some chance it comes closer to the coast, which would determine just how much rain we see on Saturday. So taking the most likely track down the middle of the hurricane center forecast right now, you can see the rain bands get close to Connecticut, but mostly miss. So our forecast challenge the next day or two will be determining where that western edge of the rain sets up. Either way, it is not a direct hit for Connecticut. The biggest impacts will be in eastern New England, Maine, and particularly parts of the Cape and the islands as we see it right now. If you're wondering about the coastal impacts, the good news for us is that around the storm circulation will have a northerly wind. And that means that in Long Island Sound, it kind of pushes the water away from the Connecticut shoreline and toward the northern side of Long Island. Still could be some splashover, but overall a minimal impact for the coastline there. In eastern New England, a different story. Serious coastal flooding, big waves, and splashover expected at high tide at Atlantic-facing beaches. So to sum it up, the track of the storm off the New England coast on Saturday. The question remains how close. But even if it travels far offshore, we still expect a breezy, if not windy day because of the pressure difference because the storm will be so strong. Gusts of 25 to 40 miles per hour possible here in Connecticut, but the worst impacts would be to our east and north, closer to the center. Rachel's back with more on Lee and the active weather tomorrow coming up. Brent?
All right, Ryan, thank you. We have new details tonight. We've learned the child who was pulled from the Connecticut River has died. Police say that child and a woman and another child were involved in a crash on Route 9 in Cromwell. All three left the car after the crash and walked down an embankment. Police say the woman and one child were later found walking along Route 9 a short time later. The child found unresponsive in the river. All were taken to hospitals. The child found in the river was later pronounced dead. The incident remains under investigation.
The mother of the 2-year-old boy who died after falling out a third-story apartment window in Hartford appears in court. Tabitha Frank's case has continued until next month. No plea deal was made today. Her son, Cornelius Williams, fell out of the family's apartment window back in July. He died from his injuries. The 2-year-old and his siblings, all 12 and under, were home alone while their mother was at work. Police say they found them living in deplorable conditions. Her family has called the tragedy an accident.
Well, new tonight, 2 people were killed early this morning in Bridgeport. Police say they responded to Carlton Avenue just before 3 a.m., where they found a 21-year-old and a 30-year-old with gunshot wounds. Both the men died from their injuries. Their identities have not been released at this time. The shooting remains under investigation, and anyone with information should call police. Also in Bridgeport, a teen was shot and killed over the weekend. Police say a 16-year-old was shot in the face Saturday afternoon at a home on Pacific Street. That teen was taken to a hospital and died from his injuries yesterday. Police say they believe the 16-year-old was handling the gun with another teen inside a bedroom at the home when it discharged. The incident is believed to be isolated.
Police in Waterbury are also investigating a shooting. They say a 16-year-old and 33-year-old victim were shot in the area of East Farms and Walnut Street. Both people were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Anyone with information on this incident should contact Waterbury Police. And happening now in Norwich, the state's largest teachers union is hosting a rally at Kelly Middle School ahead of a special board meeting.
Yeah, let's get right out to Fox 61's Julia LeBlanc joining us now live from that rally. So, Julia, what prompted this?
Hi, good evening to you both. Well, this rally here just getting underway at the middle school here is what the CEA says is the result of cultural problems at Norwich Public Schools. You can see everybody gathering here. They were just chanting, "Enough is enough." And among the crowd, you're looking at teachers who are wearing the Red for Ed t-shirts, just showing unity. You can also see some family members scattered in there, as well as students and even some other staff members as well. Now, they're all calling for an end to a culture they say creates fear of retaliation by top school administrators. Now, this is all coming after a survey conducted by the teachers union found 96% of Norwich teachers feel that way. They're scared to speak up. Another concern here, the union says more than half, about 160 teachers, have left the district since June of last year, something they say should be ringing alarm bells in administrators' heads here. Now, after that survey came out, the Board of Ed ordered its own to be conducted by an outside consulting firm. So they are expected to go into executive session tonight to talk about that and other personnel matters. Take a listen to what this retired teacher just told us minutes ago.
When I left 3 years ago, everybody was very angry. The same things that were happening today. And I could not be at home while all these people that I care about and the school system I care about is still under the same regime. It's the same problems. We've been screaming for 3 years, and finally we're getting some notoriety or some movement, and we're just hoping for the best.
Back out here live here, you can see the president of the CEA spreading a message of support to these teachers here. We did reach out to district leaders earlier today, and they tell me they were not given notice or invited to this meeting tonight, so they don't plan to be here. A spokesperson for the superintendent does say, though, that they have supported the board's decision to administer this second study, and they're looking forward to seeing the results being shared with them. That board meeting is happening right here at Kelly School at 6:30. We will, of course, be speaking with more teachers tonight, as well as the president of the CEA, and we'll give you their message later tonight. For now, we will send it back to you in the studio.